Hello my gorgeous beans and welcome back to the channel. It's officially spoopy season and you know what that means. It's Tim Burton season, and in honor of our Lord and Halloween savior and the sequel releasing, we are creating an island inspired by the one and only Beetlejuice. A cult classic that deserves an annual rewatch, and now with the sequel, I thought it was high time to create an island based off one of my favorite movies. It's going to be spoopy, it's going to be dark, but at the same time will also be warm and inviting, as this island will be as two-faced as me deciding what I want for dinner. What does this mean? You will find out later on in the video. There are no restrictions or challenges to this island besides my own imagination, so with all of that kerfuffle aside, let's get this island started. I set my name as the iconic Lydia and the birth date for March 30th, which is the movie's release date in 1988. I set my looks and chose this island where I met Tweedledum and Tweedledee before we ran to Tom Crook. And well, we all know how this next part goes, so I chose the name of the island Neither, since the land of the dead is called the Netherworld in the movie, and woo, freedom! I placed Blather's tent, paid my first debt, and skipped the day to start setting up Nook's Cranny up by skedaddling my little legs to No Island, grabbing what I need, and placing the lot. Yay! From there I skipped the day, and we all know what's next, right? A bridge and house 1, 2, 3. I spoke to Tom to let all the houses autofill, hoping for another Raymond-esque situation, and honestly, not bad. We ended up with Poppy, Blueberry, and Flurry, and I will take those over many others. So anyway, I skipped a couple days to let the villagers move in, and oh hey girl, with Isabel here I could place the campsite, and Mabel was here for the third time, so I could place the lot for Abel's sisters before skipping a day to get to the scariest moment of New Horizons, the forced, grumpy campsite villager. I swear to the gods, I get this guy on 1 in 3 islands and I need him to leave me alone. He's not a bad looking villager besides his smug face, but he haunts me and therefore we hate him. So I reluctantly placed his house in the furthest corner of the island and skipped the day. After that experience, I decided to grab another lot and use Tom's free Nook Mile ticket instead of autofilling, and you guys remember how Raymond was our grumpy campsite villager on Azor? Yeah, I guess Raymond misses me, so obviously I invited him to the island, and this time he is here to stay. I placed a lot that I proceeded to forget about, and so it autofilled into Judy. Whoops. So I dropped one more lot, went shopping, and spent a couple tickets until we came across Muffy, who was a villager we wanted for the Beetlejuice side of the island, so yay. From there, I started working on my usual methods to get this island to 3 stars, fast, by planting some flowers, dropping a bunch of custom designed dresses, placing fossils, and whatever other items I had in my storage, and the fencing that Tom gives you. I picked up all the weeds just in case before doing the first rating check, and well, that was easy. We partied with KK Slider and then woo, even more freedom. Sadly, it was Eugene of all villagers that finally gave me access to reactions, ugh, and I grabbed both terraforming permits before ending for the day. From here we have to deflora and flatten the island, and then the fun can finally begin. So I started by watching Poppy and Cobb research flowers together before uprooting all of them and chopping all the trees down. I'm fine, I swear. After that debacle, I performed my magic trick to remove the river. You ready? Abracadabra, yeetus deletus. Anyway, I left the cliffs for now because I could not be bothered to work on those yet, but with a clear island, let's talk about the theme. Beetlejuice. A dual-sided island with the lower half of the island being the land of the living. A cozy fall town inspired by Winter River, the town in the movie, and the upper half being the land of the dead, hidden away, inspired by the underworld of the movie. But today we are only focusing on the town core side of the island, so with all of that said, I said hello to Harvey and skipped the day before going coat shopping for a couple hours, and began at the entrance of the island by starting the road that will go through the living half of the island. I stopped for the day after demolishing all of the cliffs and handhelds, so we have a fully clear island. The next day I made some progress on the entrance based on this reference picture, and I love the vibes we got going on so far. So now we have a flat island, the start of the entrance, and Eugene holding up his reputation by stalking me around the island. Anyway, Kat decided she was over his shizzle as well and was the first villager wanting to move out. So I let her go while Eugene continued to watch on from behind a pillar. From here I started working on resident services following this reference with some pathing, some stairs, and fencing before planting a couple bushes, plants, and trees around the area. A couple street lamps, and it's looking nice. I decided to line the back of the plaza with building sites and begin working on a park right of the plaza, roughly following this reference, starting with a big pile of mud. Added a variety of custom pathing with stones and leaves, planted a couple trees, placed some decor before starting on the entrance to the park with more pathing, columns, trees, and many leaves and other decor all around the area until I was happy with it. I took a small break and skipped a day to check on all these trees that were growing in super nicely. Then it was high time for some suburbia, starting with our main man, Raymond. I pathed around his house with some bricks and spoopy grates before skipping a day to finish pathing his house and repeating the process with Poppy's house. I added some fencing around both properties and pathed the main road around the houses all the way up into a little cul-de-sac before skipping another day. Then I followed this reference to create a mini park that'll probably move elsewhere later on. Apparently I completely forgot that Kat was moving out, so her lot autofilled with meringue. Oopsies. From there I decorated the two houses with some items to add to the vibes, begrudgingly moved Eugene to the cul-de-sac and placed a bridge on the right side before extending the river, planting a couple trees and skipping a day. With finally some sunshine, I moved Fleury's house to the cul-de-sac as well as a new lot and placed a second bridge before picking up Genji from a Nono Island to move into the empty lot. Yay! I skipped a day, finished pathing the road next to the bridges so it all flows together, and that's where I stopped working for the day. Lots of progress was made and I love how the town is starting to take shape. But there's still lots to do, so see you tomorrow! The next day I started pathing out the road right of the bridges until I got haunted by a scorpion, but it is starting to come together. Nice. From there I added a little cliff and pathed a fork in the road on the left side that I turned into a fake cave by using dark panels, a stone arch, and some terraforming behind it before shaping the road on the right in the same way. And then I got stuck. I was running around for a while trying to figure out where and how I wanted to do the iconic red bridge from the movie. After some struggles, I ended up with two choices, but honestly, I still wasn't happy with either of these. I love the two actual bridges for the town vibes, but I messed around with the actual river to see if I might need to sacrifice them for the themed bridge. But once again, that's a problem for future Mircea to figure out. So I left the bridges alone for now and pathed a big square below the main park and added some cars to create a small parking lot before moving left to path some planks, leaves, and planted a couple trees. And then transformed this area from this into this, and I just lined both areas with some fencing. Nice. Another day was skipped to move a couple houses around so I can make space next to Raymond's house for the shop instead, and skipped the day to move it before decorating the outside with some boxes and other items. We also had a campsite villager, and honestly, Fred works super well with the towncore side, so I bugged him until he wanted to join the island, and when he finally did, he told me he was replacing Eugene of all villagers, so welcome to neither, Fred. From there, I tried to find a spot for Able Sisters and ended up settling them here for now. I will probably move them in the future. So the town of the living is truly coming together now, with all the neighborhoods, shopping streets, parks, and parking all around, but there's still a bunch to do, such as the chapel, the graveyard, more shopping, the campsite, and a bunch of filler. But we are getting closer to finishing, so let's get back into this tomorrow. It was time for future Mircea to figure out the bridge situation, so I spent some time demolishing the actual bridges and replaced them with one big red barn bridge like the movie. And I am loving this. Then I finally decided to move the mini park from here to here, which meshes much better in this area, and extended the terraforming next to it for my house in the future. And also planted a couple trees in the area before once again asking Tom Nook to move a building and placing Abel's next to Nook's. From there, I changed the shape of the road where the fountain used to be into this big open area and started setting up a faux storefront with some cliffs, bookshelves, panels, and a little bit of nostalgia until we have a nice blockbusters. A couple miscellaneous items such as a poster, a skateboard, and a little hangout spot and some other details, and that's pretty much done. I adore how this turned out. Even though I really wanted to incorporate the hobby store from the movie, I couldn't really find any good designs, so I did a store that could have been around at that time the movie came out instead, and personally I love it. Nostalgia wins today. But that was not all for today. I was in a really good flow, so I continued by fixing the road around Able Sisters so it would flow around the property just like so. Placed an incline leading up to where my house will be and skipped the day to let this all do its thing. Then I decorated around the stores, decided I wasn't vibing with this fence, so I took it down and replaced it with the stone and iron one instead. Much better. I adjusted some small areas around the entrance, and then it was high time to tackle the area for my house, starting with some trees, a bunch of leaves, and more trees before placing my lot down and skipping another day. I finished up the area by fixing the pathing, more flora, and miscellaneous items just like so. Nice. From there, I planted a couple more trees this side of the river and started pathing out some more areas below the shops, which I turned into a filler park and a small drive-in theater before moving Bluebird's house to the neighborhood, skipping a day, pathing around the house, and then repeating the process with Meringue's house. A little pathing here, some fencing there, and this area is looking fabulous. I then decided to start using the leaf pathing all around this area and encircling it with cliff sides so there is a clear separation between the land of the living and the land of the dead by using tall castle walls. We're inching closer and closer to completing the first half of the island, but once again I do really love the progress we're making. I thought of this island theme very last minute and so also started it way too late, which is also why this video is so late and I'm sorry. But I'm super happy with how it's all turning out, but it's super late, so let's pick this up in the morning. Good morning! It's the next day and hopefully we get a lot done, such as the border, the right side of the island, and just a bunch of filler or transition areas after that. Plenty to do, so let's get started. I began by lining the border with another layer of walls since the idea is that you can't see one half from the other, which is also why I blocked off the fake tunnel with roadwork so it's impossible to get close enough to the cliffs where you'd possibly see the other side. From there, I started building a small church, and after a while of struggling, I ended up with this. But something still felt off about it until I removed a couple things along with the bookshelves on the sides, and I like it much better now. Cute! Naturally, we have to go back in with a plethora of leaves because why not? Planted some trees around and started placing the headstones until it ended up like this. And then I skipped a day to let all the trees grow in. The trees all grew in nicely, and then I lined the premises with some stone fencing to bring it all together. It'll look better once all the trees are fully grown, but I like it so far as graveyards go. I took a little break and then walked across the road for a similar process with leaves, trees, and headstones for an older, more abandoned type graveyard, and skipped a couple days to check the trees. It's looking nice, but a little tree stunting never hurt anybody, and it's looking much better. At that point, I tackled a couple filler areas by covering them in leaves here, and also moved the campsite to the peninsula before skipping a day and decorating the area just like so. Nice. With that, the cozy campsite is complete and there's only one area left to do, which is also one of the bigger areas left to do, filler around the neighborhood. But fortunately, I did have ideas for what I wanted to do here, so let's do this. Starting with a couple lines of mud, I planted a bunch of pumpkins for a tiny farm and once again covered the area with leaves and more trees before adding a seasonal archway. After which I decorated the area with farm items like this silo, that cart, this scarecrow, and these bee farms until it all comes together nicely. On the other side, I dropped the doghouse, some picnic items, and somebody's laundry. Definitely not mine though. Anyway, I quickly decorated the last remaining filler underneath the graveyard before skipping a couple days to let the trees grow, and we're done. Honestly, I was very doubtful I'd be able to whip up a town core-esque island, as it's very much out of my comfort zone, but I'm incredibly happy with how it turned out. This half of the island took roughly 30 hours to complete from start to finish, which is not bad at all considering I kinda took my time with this. We have a cozy autumn town with lovely residents and calm energy throughout, but this town has more than the eye can see, as this island is not done yet. There's still a whole other increasingly darker and creepier half of the island to do, which is something for the next video and also a problem for future Mircea. So make sure you stay tuned by subscribing to get the next video in a notification box near you soon. And also feel free to like this video if you're enjoying the island so far. What is your favorite area of the land of the living? Mine has to be the blockbuster. Once again, I'm sorry this video is so late. Hopefully the next one is right on schedule, as I'm excited to start working on the Beetlejuice area of this island. Thank you all so much for watching and for all the support shown on my videos. As usual, you're all amazing and very much appreciated. Make sure you all stay happy, healthy and hydrated, and I'll see you all hopefully in the next one. Goodbye!